Weekend, the largest gathering of atheists took place in the nation's capital. Roy Speckhard, Executive Director of American Humanist Association, is here to talk about what the rally accomplished. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be on.
So basically, why the rally? It was a huge turnout. First, I want to know how many people turned out.
Oh, tens of thousands. It's hard to say exactly when you get to that number. Okay. I'm sure there'll be an official list about it sometime soon.
And this was really a rally for atheists, for humanists, for people who don't believe in God. Why this rally? Why now?
Well, it's time for us to come out of the closet and clearly state that we don't rely on a higher power to govern our lives. And that's something that for many years I think our group in this society has been quiet about, been in the closet about.
Mm-hmm. What message are non-believers trying to send to the public at this point?
The real emphasis we have is on showing that you can be good without a God. Because there's this prejudice out there that you can't somehow be good without a God, or that it's curious as to how come we can be good without a God, when that's, you wouldn't normally say that. You don't think, gosh, could a Baptist be good without a God? It just doesn't sound right.
Right. We have Father Jonathan Morris and Lino Rulli, who is the Catholic guy. They're here with me now, and I know that Father Jonathan has a question for you. Father Jonathan?
Oh, sure.
Yes, I know.
Well, first of all, I should say I'm a humanist, and I'm a humanitarian, and I believe that you can be good without God, so to speak. In other words, somebody who does not have faith can still be a very moral person, and somebody with faith can be a very immoral person. There's no doubt about that.
Well, don't stop there, Father Jonathan. Go ahead and tell them the rest of what you believe. That good people, or people can be good without God, they go to hell. And people that are shitty and bad with God, they get to go to heaven. So complete your thought and see why so many people are against your bullshit.
But that does not mean that, therefore, God does not exist.
Father Jonathan, you fucking idiot, he's not making an argument for or against God. He's simply saying that atheists, free thinkers, these humanists, whatever you want to call us, that we can be good without your God, and that is the perception that we are trying to change in the public arena. We are trying to have people understand that we can be good people, just as good as you, without your religion. So that is a shitty argument for religion. That was the point, asshat.
And that's where I would obviously hope that not only would your humanism be respected, but also that you would respect the great and very profound faith of so many.
Respecting faith is like not telling a kid that there's no Santa Claus, right? But eventually that kid gets old enough where they can comprehend that there is no Santa Claus, and it's not going to just like break them down. When kids find out there's no Santa Claus, they might be upset for like a day, but they get over it. And they still enjoy Christmas. You understand the point here? That even without your silly-ass fucking faith, your stupid religion, that most people would still be good without their fucking religion. Atheists are a perfect example of that.
One other comment, and I don't know why we didn't see any video of the big crowds. It was always up close. It'd be interesting to get some video of how big the crowd was.
Well, I'm just some idiot on YouTube, not some big-time Father Jonathan Fox News contributor, all right? And I managed to find all these, and I barely had to look at all. So there you go, ye of little faith. Plenty of pictures of the big crowds. I mean, Fox News was never one to question the size of the Tea Party crowds. In fact, they were quite ready to overestimate the numbers and be like, oh, there's 100,000 people there, and then use pictures of other protests to back up their claim of how many Tea Party protesters were there. So there's your fucking fair and balanced for you.
But you said it was tens of thousands of people there, Roy, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, definitely. Being a D.C. person, I'm
Yeah.
see these crowds a lot, and I'd say this was in that vicinity.
What do you think about Father Jonathan's comments? Is that it's not, yes, you can be good without God, and people who have God are not good, but it doesn't mean that God does not exist.
Well, certainly we do respect folks who believe in God and have other types of beliefs. In fact, we are a minority group in this country. Even if we are up to 14%, we can't get accomplished our aims unless we work with those who are religious allies. And so, so we do respect them. However, we don't happen to have that belief in God. And it doesn't necessarily come from the fact that we're good without God. It comes from our analysis of what's around us and using reason and experience. It just doesn't make sense to me, personally.
Yeah, but a religious person would say that you know, if God gave you the mind, that would give you you could still use reason to come to the conclusion that there is a God, that it's not blind faith.
I find it funny that people with poor thought processes, or maybe they weren't blessed with a very powerful brain, their logic is flawed. Those are usually the kind of people that say that God could have given them the brain to find that God. They use their illogical thought processes to come up with logical arguments in order to prove God. You've got things like the presuppositional argument, in which you have to assume that there is a God in order to begin the argument. These are the kind of things that they are forced to fall back upon. You know, when I came to atheism, it wasn't like I was thinking, hey, atheism is the way to go and I'm going to defend it no matter what. Or evolution is true no matter what. I don't come to these kind of decisions like religious people do. You have Christians that believe in the Bible, and they are forced then to defend every word of it. And they get to lead this life of defending something that they know is bullshit. And atheists like myself, I started off obviously Christian like most atheists in America anyway, and I was quickly disillusioned when I tried to defend it. I found that my defenses sucked, the attacks against it were usually correct, and that's how I came to atheism. It wasn't like something that I decided and then defended. And now I don't have to defend atheism. I just have to show you how all you do is defend your religion.
Well, the definition of faith is that it's a belief held without the evidence. We humanists and atheists tend to only believe those things that we have the evidence for, that we have the good indication that it's there. So for us, we just like to say we believe in one less God than you do.
This guy just did something that I like to do, and that is show people of faith that they are also atheists in regards to other faiths, other gods. You don't believe in Thor. You don't believe in a God X. You know, it's easy to show that they are atheists in regards to those religion, and it's a good way to try and get them to see where you're coming from as an atheist towards their religion, because everyone of faith, almost everyone of faith, everyone that belongs to a religion such as Christianity, is forced to say all other gods are false except for mine. They're forced to defend that one last God. And that's what religion basically is. All the ones before, all the ones now, all the ones after, they're all fake. But not me. This one's real. I promise you. And let's see how she responds to that.
Well, one of the things, we have a chat coming in from Wildcat, and the question is that what do they base their moral principles on?
Well, to be honest, people develop moral principles naturally as early childhood. It's part of human development. You look at psychologist Jean Piaget, who studies morality in little kids and uses marbles as an example. It's fascinating to see how quickly kids learn right from wrong and have a sense of fairness that develops over the course of their lives, whether they're exposed to religion or not. So it's not so much that we get it from someplace else, it's that it comes naturally to all of us.
So she asks, where does your morality come from? And he says, well, it's obvious that it's a natural thing. And if you look at children who aren't exposed to religion, they still have a good idea of what's fair and what's right and wrong and all this good stuff. And let's see what her awesome response to this. I'm sure it will be well thought out, because she comes off as such a very deep thinker, this retarded fucking woman that must be sucking someone's dick to have her own show.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just saw the movie The Hunger Games yesterday, and if that's the case, the kids get their moral beliefs from the people around them. You know, God help us all, because that was absolutely the most brutal movie I've ever seen of kids killing kids. And the reason why is because the social setup dictated that this is how you do it. They were following the dictates of a community that did not believe in God.
She gives an example of a movie, a fictional fucking book that was turned into a movie. That's her example against his argument that the community decides what's moral and what isn't. Whereas we have historical evidence that people have done incredibly immoral things in the name of religion. Christianity, Islam, pretty much every religion. Most of the major religions in the world today, and that have been around for quite some time now, we have historical evidence of faith and religion causing war, genocide, the Crusades, etc., etc. And her argument against that, her example, is a fictional fucking movie. Come the fuck on.
Well, I'm just saying is that, you know, there is a moral component to us all. I honestly believe it, but you know, and we can all act as if there's no God. But it seems as though we can't react as if there's no God. At some point, the reaction comes from this is not right. And where does that come from?
It comes from basic fucking knowledge that even animals have. If we cooperate, we will do better than if we all just fight amongst ourselves. You know, if you help me plow the field as an early human, right? You help me plow the field. That is more productive, and it helps both of us rather than me and you trying to kill each other, and then once one of us succeeds, the one who's left plowing the field by themselves or trying to hunt by themselves. You understand? Cooperation works, and that's where morality and, you know, emotion, love, stuff like that comes from.
Well, there is a natural empathy that we are born with, I think, and that we grow in as we grow older. However, that can be overcome by extreme dogmatism and, in fact, religion itself. I mean, you think about suicide bombers and others who, based on their faith, seem to think that other people are so radically different from them that they can be demonized and in fact killed. You know, we humanists would, you know, that's an anathema to us. We can't even imagine that.
Yeah, and I would argue, and I think that Father Jonathan would argue too, that that is a fault of the person, not the faith itself. And not, you understand, there's a difference between the sinner and the actual faith itself.
Well, if that's your fucking argument, that you can never blame the faith, you can only blame the people that are a part of it, and not how the faith affects them, then what are we even talking about? You wanted to know where morality comes from, but it doesn't matter, because if someone's immoral, we can just blame that person individually, specifically. We don't need to blame their upbringing, their parents, any kind of abuse or any kind of brainwashing, what they were taught in church or in school. None of that matters, because we can just blame the individual. Oh, that was just a crazy individual. Oh, that was just a few crazy individuals. Oh, that was just a bunch of crazy individuals. Oh, that was just a society of crazy individuals. You see, you can't blame the faith, because you can tell this bitch is really listening. And one more point. This and my last video with the O'Reilly portion where they sent out John Waters or whatever the fuck his name is to interview people at the Reason Rally, these are all online clips only. They didn't actually air these on Fox News channel on TV, because they know their online fans are a little bit more savvy as to actually what's going on and the arguments going on. They know that their TV audience is a bunch of old fucks that don't know how to work the computer, and they will never know when they are being lied to, because they know that they can't get away with as much.
I just want to say to Roy, you know, I'm impressed with your real honest discussion. Sometimes it turns so angry and so bitter, and I really appreciate it.
Well, what do you expect when you say that good people still deserve to burn in hell? You don't expect them to get bitter or angry, you stupid sack of shit? Fuck off. On a side note, I want to give a shout out to LiveLife8072. He makes good videos and he deserves the fucking subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to him already, please click on the link below and check out his videos. And if you like them, do so. He makes videos similar to mine, so you should enjoy them. Coctopus out.